Ugh. Oh my god, we got freaking played. Alright, let's get this over with. Hello, cartoon fanatics, and welcome to the last cartoon corner on the last episode of Rick and Morty for the season. And, it was kind of lackluster. I think we were all expecting, like, something as crazy as season 2. And what we got was something more like season 1 in terms of ending. So, I don't know. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't something to put people in pain for 2 years, which is kind of what I was hoping would happen. But, you know, that's okay. You can't put people in pain all the time, right? Alright, let's focus on actually what happened. So, basically in this episode, we got two different things going on again. We've got a whole situation where Beth is contemplating because she remembers the clone thing that Rick mentioned in the previous episode where she could leave and do whatever she wanted, have a clone behind that would think she was her but isn't. So she spends the whole episode wondering if she's actually a clone or not and what that means and if that would even matter and what to do about it. So Beth, or Clone Beth, she's basically doing the same crisis that the fandom did for the past week. Like, is she a clone? Is she not a clone? We can't really tell from what we've seen. But we'll get back to that, more on that later. The main part is Rick and Morty. They go to the president. They do sort of this lackluster adventure thing where they just pretty much take out an alien dog, and they're both like, ugh, this is so boring. Why do we keep listening to the president every time he tells us to go and do these meaningless tasks? So they decide, let's not do it anymore. Unless it's a situation that really needs it, we're not gonna be at the president's beck and call. And the president doesn't like that, which I thought the president was a cool dude. He seems to be like an amalgamation of all past presidents' egos. It's more about the idea of the presidency and what it can do to a person more than actually the cartoon character representing a specific president. Which, I've got nothing against that. That makes sense. Because, man, power does things to people. But he and Rick pretty much just go into this huge out brawl. It starts with this small alien species that they find in Brazil, and Rick and Morty get there first, and the president isn't very happy about that. And he thought he's got, like, everything prepared to take on Rick. He's even got his own quote-unquote version of a portal, which is pretty much the Stargate. Oh, I got a kick out of that. I used to love Stargate. It was great to see Rick and Morty make a vague Stargate reference where it was like all blue and they have like the giant portal thing around it and they have to go through all these dramatic actions to get it to do what they want. That was great. I think that was my favorite part right there. That was pretty good. But of course Rick and Morty are just one step ahead, and it just kind of accumulates to the point where for some reason Rick's like, Morty wants a selfie. You're gonna take a selfie with him and then we'll be out of your hair and you won't have to worry about us anymore. And it just got to the point where the president's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And Morty's like, I don't even care. Like, stop pressing this selfie. I don't even care anymore. But they keep going at it. And it turns into this full-on White House brawl where Rick and the president are like taking on each other, and the president's pretty much unleashing quote-unquote all of the government's secret weapons against Rick, and Rick's just taking him down really easily. There were a lot of in-jokes in these scenes, especially in terms of sort of secret government conspiracies that have built up over the past several decades or so. I'm pretty sure most of them, or all of them, have some kind of reference in this episode. They made a lot of in-jokes related to this one topic on government conspiracies. And it's hard to talk about them all specifically here, but there were several good ones. One of them that stood out to me was the robot children. That just makes me think of Spy Kids, or the mind-controlled children or whatever. That was pretty good. You have like all the secret president's halls of the things that they don't want the rest of the country to remember about them, which they're supposed to keep protected, which is why Rick and Morty were there in the first place. And then when Rick's battle with the president, they pretty much trash all of them. So, yeah, White House cleanup crew's not very happy with the president, and we saw that. At least with the Oval Office interior designer at the end, he's like scooping up all the rubble, and he is super mad. So, with all of this going on, I'm pretty sure we all thought it was going to connect to something. Like, Evil Morty had a plan, and this was like part of his plan or something. But it doesn't even come to that. Instead, what it comes down to is once Rick once Rick beats the president, Morty took the portal gun and left. The whole family's in a cabin. So Rick's got to take the bootleg Stargate portal over there to talk to them. And during this whole time, because Beth's so freaked out that she's a clone, she's rediscovered that apparently she loves Jerry again, and they've all reunited as a family, which Rick isn't too happy about, because at this point now they're like, we're all stronger together, and we're gonna stay together, and you can choose to stay and live with us, or just move to another universe where your family treats you like a god again. It's your choice, but this is the way things are gonna be now here. So, basically, the entire dynamic of the family changed from the beginning of this season to the end of this season. So I guess, yeah, that's kind of where the arc comes in, so to speak, at least in terms of characters, where we started the season on the family completely broken apart and relying on Rick, and now the end of the season, they're like, you know, we don't necessarily need Rick, he more needs us. And now Rick's kind of, I don't know, become the punchline, which is really strange to think about. And he's obviously super mad about that. And he could technically go to another universe if he wanted to, but he doesn't. Instead, he just patches things up with the president by wearing Jerry's fishing clothes and making the president think that he did switch places with another universe Rick, and that the Rick that took out the president is gone now. So the president's fine with that. He's like, yeah, we're all on good terms. Come save the world whenever you come whenever we call you. So terms there are technically good because the president got fooled. And Rick, I don't know exactly why he's putting up with it when he's so mad about the situation now. But it was kind of funny the way Beth described it. It's like season 1, except with a more, what did she say, like stereotypical dynamic? Or mainstream, that was it, more mainstream. Because now she and Jerry love each other. The kids are gonna, I guess, have more consistency in terms of everyday life. And now Rick's just kind of stuck in mediocre land, so to speak. And like I said, he could choose not to be there, but he does. And I think part of it specifically has to do with Morty, because Morty doesn't want to leave this dynamic. We noticed in season 1, when they did switch dimensions, Morty was all then willing to go, because there wasn't anything left of that dimension that he was in. So it seems like if Morty's not willing to go to another dimension, Rick doesn't want to leave. There's something very specific about the Morty he has, and he won't seem to leave that Morty. But I mean, yeah, that was pretty much it, and that was the season finale. And I'm sure during the credits everyone was going, really? That was it? That's all we got? All that build-up led to nothing? Well, I guess technically there wasn't much build-up. It was just a bunch of hints that could have potentially led to build-up. And we all thought it would. And then it did it! Nice. So, good job, guys. You fooled us. You fooled us real hard. I guess I can respect that. Especially in a show as cleverly written as this one. It cannot be easy to crank out these episodes. So, I have respect for them to kind of playing with the audience a bit. And we definitely got that in the very last scene after the end credits with Mr. Poopy Butthole. He's now got a wife and a child now, and he's like, what a season! What were you doing between seasons 2 and 3? I hope you weren't just lying around regretting your life, which is pretty much what everyone was doing. It felt like this season finale was just a giant big jab at the fandom, because it was like, this is going to be big, this is going to be dramatic, we got the president, we got the United States, there's going to be a huge conspiracy, and it turns out to be absolutely nothing. except that the family dynamic of the family has slightly changed a bit. And to be honest, that could mean really big things in terms of season 4, exactly where stuff goes. I mean, Evil Morty's obviously still out there, so he could still potentially do something, and we don't know what. But since we didn't see Evil Morty until so late in this season, it kind of, you know what, it does make sense to hold off on that. Because Evil Morty's a character that the writers and the creators have talked about, and they're like, this is one that we really want to do justice if we bring him back. And they did bring him back. So my guess is, in order to do the proper justice to Evil Morty, they want to have a full season fleshed out to actually work on exactly what's going to happen with that. Which is fair. It's like, you need your time. And when you make episodes for a weekly episode basis, that can be very grueling. I mean, you gotta storyboard it, you gotta write it, you gotta animate it. It's like all of that takes hours and hours of work. And you can kind of see in shows where, with many episodes, it's like they don't have the time that they need to actually fully flesh out certain episodes. So some of them fall flat and others are fine, and it's just kind of all over the place. At least with Rick and Morty, yes, they do take forever. And yes, they do like making fun of us. But at the end of the day, they still make great content. And I think that's where it matters the most, is the fact that they still crank out this great content. It's still good. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. This wasn't what we expected, but, well, there you go. That was it. This whole season was just one giant jab at the fandom. So thank you for that. I will rest in peace, knowing that I don't have to watch a whole place go up in flames. Okay, there might be a couple of flames, but not as many as like a huge Evil Morty plan would have gotten with a cliffhanger. This is just kind of, yeah, this happened. Woo! It's all good. For now, enjoy your couple of years of rest and not in agony. We'll bring you more agony later, hopefully. I want to see agony. I want to see agony, for crying out loud. Alright. I'm done ranting here. So if you like this, go ahead and put a thumbs up and press that like button, and don't forget to comment and subscribe as well. Now that Rick and Morty is over, I'm going to have to find other things to talk about. Oh, trust me, I've got some things to talk about. I've got some things. Star's coming in November. We're going to talk about that. Don't you worry, we're definitely talking about that.